Good evening, or afternoon, or whatever. Since it's October, I'm going to do sort of a review of a new horror movie that came out. That is Cult of Chucky. Now, Chucky is one of my favorite horror movie icons because he's one of those ones that he's really more funny than he is scary. And I have all his movies on DVD, except for the new one, Cult of Chucky, which I actually rented on the Redbox, which I'm kind of glad I did because it was Now, first of all, it's one of those movies that it's a little hard to follow because, for starters, I mean, it's stuff that you don't really. It almost reminds me of a Rob Zombie movie. You know, I mean, I love House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects, but the Halloween movies, like or at least his versions, and I don't know, they were kind of confusing. And then the same with Lords of Salem, I couldn't really get into. And that's how this movie feels. It's like one of those, like, it's a little, like I said, confusing. You don't really, for starters, there's actually multiple Chuckies running around. And each one has like a different kind of personality and hairstyle. Like one of them has kind of an Albert Einstein thing going on. Another one has kind of a crew cut. But so it's like you're watching the movie and it's like, how is he doing that? I don't get it. But it's revealed in the movie, which normally I do like that. Like for example, take the movie Psycho. That movie is much scarier after you see it the first time because you realize that Norman Bates is walking around with a corpse, talking to it and everything. But with Cult of Chucky, I don't know, it just didn't really work too well, I don't think, in my opinion. And the reason that, like as I said, it's revealed in the movie how Chucky is doing this is, well, Chucky, a.k.a. Charles Lee Ray, who, if you remember, he always used voodoo. Well, he's learned a new spell where he can actually divide his soul and possess multiple bodies at a time. So not only is he possessing multiple different Chucky dolls, or good guy dolls, whatever, but he also is able to possess a couple of different people in this movie, which was kind of creepy. Really well done, too, actually. Or so to speak. Now, another thing that kind of disappointed me is, I remember in Curse of Chucky, towards the post-credits, you remember how there's like that thing with Andy where he blasts Chucky in the face with a shotgun? Well, and then with the trailers, you notice that, like, oh, they're bringing back Andy. He's barely in it. That kind of disappointed me. And the thing with Andy, the fact that he kind of disappeared from the series was, well, you see, the first three movies, the Child's Play series, if you will, have kind of a 10-year lifespan. Like there's, the second one is 2 years later, and then the third one is another 8 years later. So that's 10 years. And then, but in Bride of Chucky, his ex-girlfriend Tiffany says it took her 10 years to track him down. So, Bride of Chucky takes place shortly after Child's Play 3, and in those three movies, Andy is played by two different actors. So I think that's why they kind of just wrote Andy off, because since Bride of Chucky came out like it's shortly after the third movie, but it came out like 6 years later, so obviously they couldn't use the same actors, and I think that's why they kind of just wrote him off. But they brought him back and used the original child actor from the first two movies, Alex Vincent. Excuse me. One thing that's actually really funny with Andy in Cult of Chucky is that Chucky that he shot is still alive. It's basically the head with a huge chunk of it missing, and then he has it on like a metal stake and he keeps it in a safe, and he like tortures it. But the movie focuses more on Nika, the paraplegic girl from the previous movie. She's in an asylum where she meets these other people, like a guy with multiple personalities and this pyromaniac woman. And Chucky is kind of just like messing with her and like throughout the movie. Like Nika's niece, for example, Alice, is dead, and Nika's heartbroken. So one night when Chucky sneaks into her room and she took one of the, I forget what you call them, the little like metal bar things that you see in the wheels of wheelchairs. She broke one of those out and like slit up her forearm, and so there's a pool of blood on the ground. The next morning she wakes up. This part's actually kind of funny. She wakes up like still alive, like how, and then she looks and the arm is stitched up, and then written in the blood is obviously a message from Chucky. It says, "Not so fast," It's from Chucky. He's like, "Oh no, you don't. You're not getting off the hook that easily." Like I thought that was pretty funny. And the kills are pretty good. Like they're pretty decent. There's a few of them. Like you don't tend to see a lot of those in Chucky movies, so they were pretty decent. Tiffany is back. Who's that's a little confusing. It's not confusing as hell since in Seed of Chucky, which that movie was very cheesy. Because I think that's where the movie started to get more goofy. I think that movie actually bombed in theaters, and that's why the newer ones. But I think Chucky still has kind of a following, so the newer ones just come straight to DVD. But Tiffany, who, if you remember in Seed of Chucky, she possesses Jennifer Tilly, even though Jennifer Tilly played the character Tiffany originally, so that's not confusing or anything. But she comes back, and Andy travels to this asylum to try and help Nika, but it doesn't really work out. And Chucky is basically just killing everyone around Nika to try and get to her. Like I said, some of the kills are pretty good, but where was I? Yeah. Another thing, Chucky is pretty funny in the movie. There's this psychiatrist guy that basically keeps trying to bang Nika, and in fact he actually has done it because he hypnotizes her. Excuse me. And it happens twice in the movie, and Chucky smashes him over the head with a face. And it's like, Jesus Christ, what is with this guy? What else was there? Sorry, it's a bit of an off day. But Chucky, that's why the movie's called Cult of Chucky, because he has multiple bodies. I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but he possesses a number of different people throughout the movie, as well as the dolls. And I guess we'll just kind of skip on down there. Towards the end, something that's kind of funny. He possesses, I'm not going to say who it is, but he possesses a female. And then Tiffany, who's waiting for him, who's in Jennifer Tilly's body, the two of them start making out. This is two female actresses, and so Chucky in the female's body says well, this is different. Another little funny moment right there. And prior to this scene, Tiffany slashes a cop or a guard's throat, and Chucky says to her again, seriously, don't you ever kill anybody other different ways? And she says hey, a true classic never goes out of style. You told me that once. What else was there? There was something else. I forget. Well, I guess that's about it. But the movie overall, I'd probably give it maybe about a 6. I don't know if there's too much else to talk about with it. It's just yeah. But one thing, there's in the credits, the post-credits, they do another thing. I'm not going to say who it is, but somebody comes back at the end, kind of like in Curse of Chucky, another old person comes back. I'm not going to say who it is, but I'll give you a hint. It was a female character. So, that's about it, I guess. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for watching my review. Have a happy Halloween or October, and make sure you watch some good scary movies. Bye-bye.